global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. Some few days ago, the Federal Court of Appeal did mention or promise Nigerians that this issue of rivers crisis will be looked into. The judicial panel, special judicial panel was set, and of course if you check out playlist, they listed out the cases set before them, but a drama ensued between the lawyers of PDP, Wike. In fact, it's something that you get the full details in a moment, but before we do that, kindly subscribe to our channel. This is really getting very interesting now. According to the news, during the appeal court, of course there have been an adjournment here and there, but let's go straight. A mad drama actually played out before the Abuja division of the Court of Appeal as two senior lawyers locked horns over the case that is seeking to sack the 27 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly that are loyal to the members of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Yesom. That's Mr. Yesom Wike. Now, trouble started after a special panel the appellant court constituted to hear all the matters relating to the political crisis in Rivers State called up the appeals for hearing. And the appellant court had scheduled a total of about 11 appeals involving different parties in the state for hearing. For details of those case files, please check our playlist. We mentioned it the last time. Now, among the cases included an appeal on appeal is the Rivers State government, which filed to stay the execution of the judgment that mandated Governor Siminalayi Fubara to re-represent his 2024 budget proposal to the pro-Wike faction of the State Assembly led by Honorable Martin Amohile, as well as the appeal the Action People's Party APP filed to declare seats of the lawmakers vacant over their alleged defection to the All Progressive Congress APC. Equally listed for hearing was an appeal marked CA/1159/2024, which was filed by the People's Democratic Party (PDP). However, when the matter was called up, two lawyers, that's Mr. B.F. Folorunsho and Mr. J.Y. Musa, separately announced their appearances for the PDP. Now, while Musa, a senior advocate of Nigeria's son, told the appellant court that he was mandated by the party to withdraw the appeal, Folorunsho told the court that no such directive came from the party. Following the controversy, the three-man special panel led by Justice Onyekachi Otisi acknowledged that it got a letter from the PDP indicating that it did not authorize the appeal. Now, the appeal added that the PDP, in its letter to the court, which was signed by the acting national chairman and secretary, applied to discontinue the case. Consequently, it queried the two lawyers about how they were briefed to appear in the matter. Whereas Musa, senior advocate of Nigeria's son, maintained that he was briefed by the Alhaji Umar Damagom-led executives, Folorunsho said he was duly assigned the case by the national legal advisor of the party, whom he said has the authority to handle all legal matters involving the party. Both lawyers claimed that they got their hearing notices to appear for the appeals. In view of this development, the appellant court panel ordered the two lawyers to go back to PDP and sort out this issue. This is interesting. Now, the issue of which counsel that has been briefed should be clarified by the 29th. That's the 29th respondent, which is the PDP, and the court notified. This is not an issue this court can dive into at this time, Justice Otisi held, as she adjourned the same or some of the appeals to January 2025. January 23rd, 2025. Now, the counsel that represented the Rivers State government, that's Mr. Godi Uche, senior advocate of Nigeria's son, told the court that aside from the 11 cases, 4 more appeals bordering on the crisis in the state has been also filed. He prayed for an adjournment to enable the matters to be consolidated, a prayer that was granted by the court, which fixed November 22nd as the return date for another round of the appeals. Please keep a date with us. We'll give you updates on that as well. Now, meanwhile, earlier in the proceedings that lasted over 6 hours, the court reserved its judgment on 5 consolidated appeals that bordered on local government elections that recently held in the state. Now, the appeals were filed by the Attorney General of Rivers State, the Social Democratic Party (SDP), and both parties, while APC filed 2 cross appeals. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) was listed as the respondent in the appeals. It will be recalled that Justice Peter Lifo of the Federal High Court in Abuja had, in a judgment he delivered on September 30th, barred INEC from releasing voters' register to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission (RISEC) for the conduct of the local government elections that held on October 5th. Now, the trial court equally barred the Inspector General of Police and the Department of the State Service from providing security for the elections. Now, the others followed a suit that was filed by the APC. Justice Lifo held that the RISEC held by fixing dates for the conduct of the polls in the 23 local government areas without strict compliance with the relevant laws guiding such election. He faulted the electoral body in the state for not publishing 90 days mandatory notice before it scheduled the election. More so, the court held that the update and revision of voters' register to be used for the election ought to have been conducted or concluded before any valid date could be fixed for the polls. Now, the judgment came on the heels of an order of a high court in Rivers State, which gave the nod for the polls to hold as scheduled. However, in its appeal, the Rivers State government contended that the Abuja court acted beyond its powers, insisting that the issue of local government elections in the state was outside the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court. My colleague is in the house. This is getting interesting. 2 lawyers representing one party, each one of them insisting they were briefed accordingly by the party to represent PDP. One of them insisted that they had been briefed to remove the case about discontinuing that Fubara's case. The other lawyer insisted that he was briefed to defend the case to the total conclusion. Of course, at some point, the judge had to say, look, this is not a matter we have to dive. You both of you just go and sort yourself out with PDP, come back 29th, meet your 29th respondent, which is PDP, and sort yourself out and come back and get back to us. But even the court did agree that they got a letter from Demagom, the acting chairman of Demagom, saying they want to discontinue that case. The question is, what is going on? And of course, the whole issue of INEC, RISEC, and all these local government. What's your take on all of this?
Okay, well, we have to clarify this. First of all, that case was actually meant to establish that the 27 lawmakers are no more members of the PDP. So the reason for the discontinuance of the case is PDP already, we know that the National Working Committee have 2 factions. One is Damagom, who is Wike's boy, yeah, while the legal advisor is standing for the truth, that the right thing should be done. Now, it is the duty of the legal advisor to send representation when it comes to any case in court by PDP. It is not the duty of the acting national chairman to do that. But right now, because they are not in the same platform, the same level, this one is standing for Wike, the other one is standing for what I feel it's right. So the purpose of that case is that these 27 lawmakers are not part. They have cross-carpeted from PDP. As such, their seats are meant to be declared vacant. While Demagom here is coming to say that these people are not, they have not cross-carpeted. For that reason, there's no need for that case. You understand? So this is where we are right now. So I feel that the legal advisor, being that he has more knowledge about the issue and have more knowledge about the constitution of PDP and also how to capitalize on it, he should be the first person to run to court to consolidate his position as the ideal person to send representation when it has to do with issues that with legal issues about PDP. Because if he doesn't do that, the National Working Committee, they are going to meet, before you know, they are going to raise a strong war against him and stop him from sending that representation. That was even the crux of the matter that resulted to the suspension of this guy before, the suspension of Olubong Namba, and that's the publicity secretary and the legal advisor. That was the reason, because they were not ready to align with Damagum, standing with Wike as it has to do with the issue in PDP, with the issue in River State. That was what triggered that whole issue. So right now, despite the fact that they have been forced by the PDP Governors Forum and every other person that everything should return to status quo.
But this problem,
the problem is still there, because everybody still wants to do. Because I am the legal advisor, and I have the right to send representation whenever it has to do with issues, as it has to do with our own people. That has to do with PDP. You are the chairman. You don't have that right. It is in my own office. Yes. So that is where the waha is. And I think that was why, when the demands was out for Damagum to be kicked out of the office, Wike was, serious. Say, no way, he doesn't want it to happen. Because if it happened, the new guy that is coming on board will certainly listen and look at the Constitution, and everything will work in line with the Constitution. So right now, I know that thing alone cannot. And I just pray that the legal advisor should stand his ground. Because if he stands his ground, it's going to be to the favor of Fubara. We all know that these guys have become, but the national chairman, acting national chairman, is saying that he has not gotten anything. They have not become, they are still members of the party and all. And if he says that, or if the legal advisor who's going to be representing them in court says that, automatically it will invalidate whatever thing that Fubara is bringing up. So that's where the issue is right now. If at the end of the day, the legal advisor is allowed to send in his representation, the legal advisor will say, by virtue of the provision of the Constitution, when you cross carpet, you are not part of the system. This guy, this evidence shows that they have cross carpeted, so they are not members of the People's Democratic Party, and they will lose their seat. So the fight is going to be a tough one, because the legal representative or the legal advisor will not allow, the acting chairman to bring in his substitute. So it's going to be a long ride. I'm so sure of that. You understand?
So by default, it could be a case of Wike buying time so that he doesn't lose his followership and his loyalists till 2027, where probably they will not declare that it's truly vacant.
Yes. Now, even if Wike would not want to lose it, because if Wike loses it, automatically, these are some of the issues. These were the reasons why a lot of people were angry with Judge Abdul Malik, talking about the judge who said they should not, since there was no presentation of that budget before the 27, they should be represented and all of that. That was why people were angry with her, because there are a lot of issues. There are a lot of issues that are pending, that must be resolved first before you make such legal stand. You understand? There are a lot of issues. Why would you say stoppage of funds to these people when you already know that these guys there are still cases in court that has to do with their position as lawmakers? Until those issues are resolved, you can't come out and say they should be before the horse. You cannot come out and say they should be representation of the budget. There is no way, because as at now there is an issue in court, and PDP is still saying that they are no more part of us. Another PDP faction is saying that. So right now, my advice to the legal advisor is that you should go to court immediately using the Constitution of the People's Democratic Party and say they should restrain Umar Damagum from sending representation to court. They should restrain him from sending legal representation based on the fact that it is my legal right by Constitution, by office, to send in representation. So it's something that you should use your smartness. So and if he goes that way, I know that the case is going to be dragged again. So right now, the issue of saying stoppage of funds to this thing is, for me, it's so unbalanced, because already there are issues on ground. That's why during the period that Wike was talking about the issue of Fubara refusing to present the budget before the 2027 lawmaker, one of the media persons who was there during that media chat told him, can we go back to the beginning of this case? Because something must have made Fubara not to present this thing before. The man said, no. He played, he's a smart dude, so he played it off and all of that. So these are the issues. So if the legal advisor stands his ground, because I know that the legal advisor is also trying to prove a point here, that you cannot kick me out. What Numbania wanted to do, if this guy was a Lily Liver person, talking about the legal, if the acting national chairman, what he wanted to do was to suspend him out, bring in someone who will stand with him, so that when they go to court, they withdraw that case out. They, by declaring those guys are still, because the appeal is coming from acting and from the legal advisor himself. I don't know if you get it here. Yes. So right now, the issue is still going to be on for as long as possible. So that stoppage of revenue to River State, for me, is totally nonsense, because by the time they go to their appeal, it is at the appeal that they will say, sir, the reason why these things cannot stand is because there are cases in court.
Well, let's see how this plays out, because when you say it's going to take a long time, I guess that's why there's a special panel. Let's see how they play these out. That's good.